Hello, and welcome to Games is Lit 101. Or, more specifically really, welcome to the Games is Lit 101 Rants. Every now and again, some of the topics of a given episode of Games is Lit 101 are going to touch on something that I have really strong feelings about. Now, with Games is Lit 101 trying generally to be a relatively formal show, it may not necessarily be tonally appropriate to touch on those topics, or maybe we just don't have time in the episode, so when we come up to something like that, instead I'm going to make this little side episode and offer it for anyone interested in my true feelings on the matter. Now, do note that of course these aren't written ahead of time, they're just ad-libbed, so they're not as well articulated. I wouldn't necessarily take every detail of what I say in these as the gospel of my position on something, but point is, I'll be able to speak a little more freely and angrily about things that annoy me, so okay, that said, what is wrong with you, Ubisoft? I mean, okay, seriously, Beyond Good and Evil, as talked about in the episode, was a fantastic game. I know it didn't sell well, but not only was it a good game, I mean, generally speaking, good games deserve sequels to begin with. It clearly needed one. It was planned as one. There were more of them planned. And it's insanely frustrating to end up with an ending like that, where it doesn't really make that much sense to begin with. There's so many blanks to fill in, and then it gives us little teaser bait like that, and doesn't deliver on it with a freaking sequel. I know it didn't sell well, but look, there are more complications to this. The worst thing about this, is that it's not like there's just been no word about a sequel or anything. It's been announced, not even just talked about or anything like that, announced. They gave us a teaser trailer. Later on, they had some leaked gameplay footage that they acknowledged, yes, this is Beyond Good and Evil 2. You know when that trailer came out? The teaser trailer where they announced it? 2008 at E3. It's been over 6 freaking years since they brought it up. But weirdly enough, there's so little word on it. We have no idea what's going on, but they keep bringing it up. Just every now and again, out of the blue. It reminds me of Square Enix occasionally just saying, oh yes, that Final Fantasy VII remake, that'd be stupid, we're not gonna do that. For no reason whatsoever. We never get anything useful out of it. It's basically always Michael Ansel saying, yes, I want to do this would be cool, and Ubisoft saying, well yes, we know that some people want it, we're just jerks and we don't care, but that's a thing. But because of what Ansel says, it's so obvious that he wants to do it. Interviews and all this stuff with him clearly paints a picture of a guy who loves this game that he made even more than all of its fans, which there are some die-hard fans, in case you couldn't tell. And he so wants to do it. I don't understand why Ubisoft hasn't let him yet. The worst thing is, it's not just that they're bringing it up. It's not just that they announced it and haven't actually done anything with it yet. They have been horrible about this. It is rare that I have seen a publisher be quite this scummy about just giving people what they want. Okay, so Beyond Good and Evil HD came out a few years ago. It's on the PSN and the Xbox Live Arcade for the Xbox 360. If you haven't played the game, seriously, get those versions, they're amazing, they look a lot better. They said at the time that if we bought enough copies of Beyond Good and Evil HD, if it's sold well enough, they would take that as a sign that the game has enough of a following, and maybe, more strongly consider the possibility of a sequel. Okay, you know what, that makes sense. It's kind of annoying to say, give us more money and then maybe we'll give you the game we want, but it makes enough sense. It is Beyond Good and Evil, it reaches it out to a new audience, but it got worse when Rayman Origins came out, which yes, is designed by Michael Ansel, but aside from that has absolutely nothing to do with Beyond Good and Evil. When Rayman Origins came out, they said, hey, all of you who like Beyond Good and Evil, buy this. Buy this new $60 game that we're releasing, and then maybe we'll give you the game that you actually want. Okay, what? Just, what? Okay, what? Look, I know that Rayman is made by the same person, okay? Michael Ansel made both of them, but that is their only connection. And don't get me wrong, Rayman Origins was great, Rayman Legends was great, it's a really fun series, but to try and wring that much money out of us for a game that isn't even, that's only tangentially related to the one we actually want, and to try and prey on our desire for Beyond Good and Evil 2 to get more money out of us? I mean, okay, not even, I mentioned Square Enix and Final Fantasy VII, but they're not even doing that. I mean, that's one of the worst things, just, okay. But you know what really makes it ironic? Okay, Beyond Good and Evil, they have, you know, whatever stupid reasons they think it failed, like it just wasn't normal enough, or there weren't enough headshots or something, I don't know. In reality, there were a few reasons that it failed financially. One of the major ones was that they released it with little fanfare in the middle of a release season with a ton of other huge games. Even their own. Look, Sands of Time. This right here, yeah, same time. It did amazingly well. A lot of games did. They released it at the wrong time. So when they tell us, buy this other kinda sorta related game, and then maybe we'll give you the game we actually want, guess when they released that game? In the same month, let's see, as Uncharted 3, Modern Warfare 3, the Metal Gear Solid HD collection, the official release of Minecraft, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword, and freaking Skyrim. No one played things that weren't Skyrim that month. To make it even worse, the same day, the day of the release of Rayman Origins, the game that they said we had to buy if they wanted to think that Beyond Good and Evil would be successful enough, it came out the same day as Halo Anniversary, Saints Row the Third, and Assassin's Creed Revelations, an action platforming game from their own studio, just like friggin' Prince of Persia. How could they possibly try and pull something so stupid and make the exact same mistake with that game? Just, Okay, so that's the most ironic part and the worst part about their behavior, but you know what just makes it sad? Mirror's Edge is getting a sequel. Mirror's Edge is great. I love Mirror's Edge. I am very happy about that sequel, but this means that we've been waiting over a decade for Beyond Good and Evil 2, a cult classic game with a cult following that, you know, it didn't sell too well because it was kind of different. And EA is giving us a sequel to a cult classic game with a cult following that didn't sell too well because it was kind of different. Way shorter after the release of the original. EA, Satan's game publisher. When you are outscumming EA, something is very wrong. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if they were pulling the same stuff on Michael Ansel himself. Oh, just make us another Rayman game, then maybe we'll let you make the game you actually want to make. But the annoying thing about this, in my mind, is that the AAA video game industry needs some more creativity like this. And it doesn't not get it because not enough people are interested. It doesn't get it because of cowards like this. Because of stuff like this that is happening when publishers decide that if something doesn't fit the status quo as it's currently already set up, even if a lot of people like it, if enough people like it, to make a profit from it, they won't do it. They're scared and they clearly don't even understand what they're scared of. And that annoys me. Okay. At this point, in any case, I do hope that the Beyond Good and Evil literary analysis set up, you know, maybe got some of you guys interested in Beyond Good and Evil. If I can get, if even a few more people like this game, maybe someday we'll actually get the sequel we wanted for over a freaking decade. So we'll just see what happens. So in any case, this has been Games Just Live 101 Rants. Class is it's not really a class, just whatever, I'm out of here.